It's her again. Not the old me, but not the brand new one either. Just a woman figuring it out loud. This is It's Her Again with Ebony Shantae, where we talk love, life, and all the mess in between. If you're healing, growing, manifesting, or minding your business, go ahead and pull up a chair. And child, let's talk about it. Hey, 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 what's up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of It's Her Again. I'm your host, Ebony Shantae, and I know we've all heard the phrase, if he wanted to, then he would. Whew, that sentence been weaponized. We use it to heal, we use it to hurt, we use it to justify staying and leaving. But I had to ask myself one day, what if the sentence isn't the problem? What if it's how we use it? Because I believe that phrase so hard that I stopped listening to myself. I ignored everything. I ignored context, patterns, my own feelings. And today I want to talk about that part, the part we don't post. Now, we love that line because it makes things simple. And healing, that's not simple. That phrase lets us stop thinking, stop feeling, stop questioning. It turns emotional confusion into a one liner. But life don't be one liners. Sometimes it's paragraphs, one on sentences, typos, red flags mixed with hope. And let's be honest, that phrase feels powerful. It makes you feel grown. Like you got standards now. But also, it's dangerous if you don't unpack it. You post it, you caption it, you send it to your group chat like, yep, that's it. That's the one. But the truth, that sentence don't tell the whole story. It just tells the ending. And sometimes we need to talk about the uncomfortable middle because not every man was trash. Some of them were just unfinished. And that's even harder because you can't hate him, you can't villainize him, you just hurt. He showed up sometimes, he cared in his way, he meant well, but meaning well don't build security. And potential don't pay emotional bills because the middle is late night conversations, almost consistency, effort that shows up, then disappears, words that sound good but don't turn into action. And that's where we get stuck because it ain't bad enough to leave, but it ain't good enough to stay. So we hover. Almost relationships will mess you up. I think that's the part that messed me up the most. He wasn't evil. He wasn't mean. He wasn't abusive. He just wasn't ready. And nobody talks about how hard it is to leave somebody who didn't technically do anything wrong because you feel dramatic, ungrateful, like you're asking for too much. But peace ain't dramatic. Almost love will have you asking, am I tripping? Should I be more patient? What if I just gave him more time? And then time goes on, nothing changes, but you changed. You get quieter, more anxious, less expressive, and you call it compromise. Let's be honest. We didn't want a lot. We wanted consistency. The bare minimum hit different because once you're attached, the bare minimum starts feeling like effort. A good morning text, you smiling. A phone call, you're telling your friends, he really trying. One decent date every few weeks, and you're calling it progress. Slowly, your standards start shrinking. And now that I'm healed ish, I'm a little embarrassed. Not because I was wrong, but because I was hopeful. This the part where we got to be real with ourselves. We became his PR team. He was just busy. He had a rough childhood. He's not good at expressing himself. This is the part where we got to be real with ourselves. We became his PR team. He just busy. He had a rough childhood. He's not good at expressing himself. Meanwhile, you're exhausted. You're explaining his behavior to your friends while crying in the bathroom. And that's when you should have left. But you stayed because you saw who he could be. Now, this one took me a minute because effort looked good on surface. But the hard truth, effort without direction is just movement. Some people will do just enough to keep access to you. They don't want to lose you. They don't want to choose you either. And that limbo, that's where your self esteem starts leaking. And here's where I got to drag myself gently. When he didn't step up, I stepped in. I communicated better. I became more understanding. I shrunk my needs. I told myself love requires sacrifice, but nobody told me sacrifice shouldn't cost you your sense of self. We turn into the strong one, the patient one, the understanding one, but strength without reciprocity turns into self abandonment. Somebody once said, confusion is an answer. And baby, that broke me because I knew. I knew every time I felt anxious, every time I reread text, every time I question where I stood. That wasn't love, that was uncertainty. Because love ain't supposed to feel like anxiety. You're not supposed to decode feelings. You're not supposed to feel unsure about where you stand. If you're confused, that's your answer, babe. It just might not be the one you want. The part that hurts the most, though, is sometimes he wanted to. He just didn't do the work. Didn't want to grow, didn't want to be consistent, didn't want to show up fully, didn't want to choose. And love without choosing is just feelings with no foundation. And I had to stop asking, why wasn't I enough? And start asking, why did I accept almost? Instead of asking why he didn't love me right, I started asking, why did I ignore my discomfort? Why did I stay once I felt unsure? Why did I convince myself love was supposed to feel hard? That question, now that one took time. Now I don't chase clarity. I require it. I don't settle for chemistry. I look for consistency. I don't romanticize struggle. I don't over explain my needs. And if I feel anxious early on, I listen because peace don't come with butterflies. It comes with consistency. And boring is underrated. So yeah, if he wanted to, he would. But more importantly, if it was right, you wouldn't be confused. And if you were confused, that wasn't love. That was just your intuition begging you to listen. If this episode made you uncomfortable, I want you to sit with that. Send this to somebody who keeps saying, oh, he just needs time. Also, leave a review. Talk shit in my comments. I want to thank you for choosing yourself, even when it hurts, even when it felt lonely. And until next time, don't negotiate your worth. It's her again.